This is my recently bought UPS from APC, Schneider Electric. Pretty good device, I must say, for extended needs such as high load from gaming system. Yeah, my build you probably know by now from my other videos. The UPS I had before was only 500 watts, and obviously with a more powerful power supply, you really need something bigger as well in terms of battery backup. Why I picked this UPS model, I will tell you later. But with this specific model, I got it actually from Amazon warehouse, so second-hand kind of, with some smaller warranty. Really good bargain, but the one thing I noticed is that it has this noise coming out of it. And really what I realized really strangely is when you disable the display by holding this button. I hope this is audible in the video. The frequency of the noise actually changes, it gets even worse. So for me, that was a reason to contact APC, the company, and to see what they can say. They offered me they asked me to reset it to the factory settings, but actually the steps they told me didn't work, so I couldn't really do it. And now they offered simply to replace this unit. And yeah, guess what? Today I got the replacement, so I'm now going to switch it. Should be pretty easy. There are only a few plugs on the back side, and yeah, I'll tell you how it goes. So here's the new unit. As you can see, it's totally brand new package, same model. So let's unbox it. So well boxed. Okay. So you get two Kaltgerätekabel, C14, C13, I think is the official name. And these are the extension cables to plug those devices with those plugs into the back of the UPS. I think that is supposed to serve for two devices. In my case, I actually attach several Mehrfachsteckdose, well, splitter with that can each support several devices, because from a load perspective it actually doesn't matter which socket you plug it to. And this thing is really heavy. Let me just remove the cover. So here's the back of the unit. Pretty straightforward. What I noticed is that there are some plugs actually where it's only surge protection for your devices, whereas the other 2, 4, 6 ports actually are preventing from power interruption. Obviously, that's the main purpose of this device. And I mean, you can also surge protect network cables, which I don't usually do. This here is actually was a bit surprising to me that they plug a USB cable, but it actually is USB and serial data port, so you can kind of control the UPS and monitor it from the PC via the PowerChute software that usually comes with APC devices. So fortunately there is an adapter cable for that, which turns the data port into USB, so you can plug it to the PC very easily. And obviously some smart manuals and so on, worth a read obviously, because there are some hints that you really need to know. Now, I've been dealing with UPSs for many years, so I know that they usually ship it with the battery unplugged, because obviously that's lead batteries with a high capacity and they are prone to transport shortages and so on. So I'm going to now unplug it. I will plug the battery. Maybe I will film that as well, so you know how that works, where the battery is and so on. And then I'm going to replace it and see if the problem with the noise is still there with this unit. So now while I unpacked it, actually I found this protocol. So it seems to be a test protocol, and I guess that actually means that it's not a brand new unit, but a refurbished one, which is okay for me, because I mean, if APC that easily is changing a unit when it gets defective, I actually don't mind. I think it's better to give the devices a new home, because yeah, I mean, this is not beautiful. It stands in a shelf for me. Yeah, nothing to be worried about as long as it fits its main purpose, which is to keep the devices running, even if you have a power surge or a power shutdown, and keep the data on the PC, obviously. Okay, so now I'm going to open this device and plug the upper case out. And yes, you can see, as expected, the plus plug is actually disconnected for the transport, as I mentioned. So now we have to plug out. Not sure if you can see this, but you have to pull it out, the whole battery. It's quite heavy, in order to then plug the plus port, make it operable. Minus is already connected, so that's actually all. So I think it's quite neat, and this really differentiates the Pro units from the consumer units, is that you get to, you know, easily replace the battery. You can get replacement parts. I mean, it's a RBC. What is the... doesn't say it, but you can easily get a replacement from anywhere. And yeah, the way that you can open the device actually is also changing, because APC also has some cheaper models where you even cannot easily change the battery, which for me is a problem, right? I'd rather invest a bit more and have it easy in maintenance, other than having to throw the whole device away. I mean, that doesn't make any sense in today's world. So how to go about the replacement? The strategy should usually be, I mean, you first, of course, shut down all the PCs, shut down all the consuming devices. In my case, I have just a network switch and a KVM attached. The laptop will continue to run anyway, so I will just shut down the UPS. And then going to unplug it in the back and plug all the plugs in the new device and start it up. Okay, so all cables are plugged. I'm now going to start the new device. You can see the light went on again. It does some self-checking, means online. It is not, as you can see, the battery, even though it was unplugged during the transport, it is not full. I think the... Oops. I wanted to say that the manufacturers don't charge it actually fully, but that seems to be quite empty. Okay, let me check again. Okay, second try. Shows a battery problem again. Uh-oh. Maybe my old one was better actually, in fact. So now after the third try and putting some more load on it, it seems to be better. Might be that maybe they really send it with a empty battery even, so that they expect that you need to charge it first before. I mean, yeah, from a safety perspective, it's probably better to have it discharged and charge it when on arrival. So what I'm going to do is I will now let it charge for a while. I will use minimal load on it, 36 watt for now only, to let it charge fully. And then I'm going to test it again, because it would be really bad to now have to initiate yet another return to, or exchange, let's say, because they first send you a new one and then you ship back the defective one. So let it charge, and okay, so the display shuts down after some inactivity. That's a bit different from the other unit I have, because there the display will always be on. What I really like, by the way, on this model is that you can mute it. I mean, you can just, because otherwise it will just give you an ugly sound. So even on the alert, you will be able to disable the sound, and but after some time, actually, it again activates itself, because otherwise, obviously, you need the beep to know that something is up, that it's running on battery, that it's switched, that the power is gone or something is wrong. What I really also like with this model is that you have the USB ports. One is USB-C and one is USB-A, because then it can actually serve as a charger in case you have really a power outage or a blackout even. You can at least use the battery to charge your mobile devices, for example, as a safety backup. So it's a dual purpose thing, and yeah, that's maybe worth the investment of the higher price. So it really looks like I got a defective unit. Even after charging, it was half full, let's say. It showed me remaining capacity of 13 minutes. Maybe you recall that in the first video I did, my old unit actually showed 166 minutes when charged full. That's quite a difference. And now even PowerChute reported that the self-test did not pass, it failed. So I think there is really something wrong with this replacement unit. Even though the protocol showed that everything passed, no, this can't work. Quick word on the manual. I mean, in general it's okay. I mean, it shows, you know, what is inside the package, and it shows okay, how to plug the battery and so on. My recommendation to improve the manual would be like, okay, first chapter should be how to start actually. Of course, you can maybe realize that, okay, connecting battery should be the first step. Installing the software is maybe the second step. But really like a step-by-step guide, like many manufacturers actually do by now, to guide the user. Because otherwise, you know, I know that many tech guys actually like to skip the manual altogether, because they seem to know how it works, everything. But I've learned over my experience that sometimes it's really good to actually look at the manual. So I think something is really wrong, because after, you know, this ugly noise and the battery showing completely empty with a self-test failed, now after switching on, it already shows like two segments charged, which cannot be true. Just by having plugged it in like 2 minutes, remaining time of 78 minutes, although right in the I mean, like 2 minutes ago it was like empty. So I really cannot get rid of the feeling that this thing is just defective. Maybe the battery is dead or half dead. I'm pretty sure that once I now switch on my PC, let's do that for a second. When the load increases, yeah, it goes down significantly. I'm pretty sure that in a second it will say that it's actually empty again. Okay, that's the display. Yeah, and the problem is, I mean, now let's switch off the PC, because I mean, this thing is supposed to be a backup battery in case something happens. But if it's unreliable itself, I didn't gain anything by buying it, and this thing is not cheap. So I'm going to tell APC that their replacement is worse than what I have, and yeah, see what they say. So before shipping it back, remember that you need to unplug the plus cable. Maybe we can put it here. Okay. So the replacement unit is back in the box. I'm going to pack it. I'm actually a bit disappointed by APC, who I know to be quite reliable firm. Yeah, but it is what it is. Okay, what I did now is actually plug the old battery in the replacement unit just to see if that one would work. And if it does, then I can maybe avoid another return. Okay, but what is really strange is that the load is not higher, but the runtime is much lower in this unit versus the other unit, my original unit. But the battery is charged the same. So it shows the battery is actually only half, but it's not true. It was full. So I assume that this replacement unit is actually really defective. Okay, let's check again. 5% load. "73 minutes. 5%, 73 minutes. Let's keep that in mind." So really strange. I went back to my original machine unit. Shows now same battery, shows full load, full charge. Load should be 6%, roughly the same as before. And the runtime 110 minutes. So that's 40 to 50 minutes more than the other showed. So clearly the replacement battery is somehow strange. It's not functioning correctly, so I'll return it. So after having consulted APC support, they told me that I should try to recalibrate the USB UPS battery, and I'm going to do so. So what they said is, I mean, you basically plug it on, then you start it. You add at least 30% load, which I'm doing by starting the PC. And then you force it to run on battery. So I plug out the mains supply. So plugged out the power supply cable, and now basically forcing it to run on battery under some load. So the PC is running. Let's see how much load there is. 300 watts, 30%. So yeah, it should be at least 30%, so that the recalibration will actually work. And now obviously running on battery, going down. So let's see how much will remains. 10 minutes. I mean, what's interesting already is that, I mean, now it's already running like maybe 2 minutes on battery, and in the previous attempts actually it went down within a couple of seconds to 0. So hopefully maybe it's a good sign to be able to actually recalibrate it. And let's maybe hear a bit about the tone that I was trying to remove. So it doesn't have the same noise that is my original problem. So let's see. Now we are close to be draining the battery. It's still running on battery. I've actually booted and into the boot menu, just to make sure that once it's switched off, there is no data going to be corrupted in the boot menu. I think the risk is really very small that something will break. And yeah, so I'm waiting until switched down. Then I'm supposed, per the instructions, to plug the battery again, the power inlet again, and let it charge. Preferably, it's said that it should be charged without the load, but unfortunately I cannot afford that because I need to work, do some work, and so yeah, I'll do that. So maybe while we wait for the last minutes to shut down, let's reiterate a little bit why using a UPS might be good for you. What are the benefits? Certainly, it's used primarily to bridge power outage if that happens. In my case, we have a power circuit that's quite old, several decades old, so it can happen that, and it happened in the past, that maybe by a surge or something, or just someone cutting a wire, or something happens on the what we call FI switch, which is a very sensitive switch mounted in like the bathroom where there is water. Could easily turn off the whole circuit. And in those cases, obviously, if I work, I don't want to lose my work. If I game, I don't want to lose my save games, my progress in the game. So I think for those situations, the UPS can really help. What it doesn't support, I think, is a longer blackout, really, if you're off the power circuit for several days, which is currently expected to happen maybe because of the global energy crisis. I don't think in those cases you will be able to power your real network equipment for a very long time. But as I mentioned earlier, there is this outlets where at least you could use the battery to charge some very elementary stuff like your mobile phone, or any communication means, any power blocks that you may have otherwise, to then charge other devices as well. I actually run another UPS as well, so I have also like a network equipment, like the central network connectivity with the router and the NAS attached, the network attached storage. So that is actually powered by 500 watts UPS, and I mean, those components really don't take as much power as such a huge build would be, with a gaming GPU and so on, taking a lot of power. So I think that's another use case in order to stay connected to the web, to the world. Communication means router, telephone, these things are also powered by UPS. And there I would expect that the runtime is actually much longer, although the UPS is also smaller, but it is simply because those components don't take as much power consumption. Oh, I see. Now the UPS is showing that it's really low. So let's expect for it to shut down any minute. Just scrolling again on the features. So you can see power events, the current voltage, the load currently, load in percentage of the capacity of the UPS, hertz. It's here in Germany, it's 50 hertz. In other countries, it might be less voltage, like 110 volts and maybe 60 hertz. And runtime, yeah, 0 minutes. It's showing very low. So yeah, now shut down so that we can go to the next step. Can't wait. Really neat that we can actually switch off the sound. Normally, if there is a shutdown event or a power down event, obviously you would want to hear it acoustically. But yeah, I'm happy. I once tested some other UPSs from Eaton, and there we go. From Eaton, and there you could not mute the alert, so that was quite annoying. Maybe an advantage from APC. Okay, so now I'm going to plug it in again and let it charge. Okay, there you go, switching on automatically. So now supposed to be charging full. So I'll let it charge maybe for 10 minutes with just the network switch attached, and then we'll see what happens. Now it shows one segment. Okay, let's simply switch on the load. Okay, I'm going to let it charge now, using it, because as I said, I cannot afford, I need to do some work. And yeah, we'll let you know later. Finally, after a couple of hours charging, apparently, you can see still no movement. For me, this unit is simply defective. Enough time spent, and yeah, we'll return it. So now I charged overnight, and you can see it's full from the all segments full, 5 segments. It's important that I decide today because APC already scheduled the return shipment, so they are going to pick it up, and I have to decide which one to give them. So let's see how much remaining. 160 minutes at a load of 4%. I think that's only slightly worse than my original unit. But the main difference is without the noise, apparently. Okay, clearly there's not the same noise. There is some noise, but it's almost not audible. With the PC on, it's showing a runtime of 30 minutes, which is quite okay. I'm going to force it to the battery mode. Strange, no, it doesn't beep. Maybe because it was actually on the battery mode. Let's try to unmute it. And it's muting itself. That's also not the desired behavior, because obviously I want it now to tell me when it's on battery. Strange, really strange, this unit. So within 1 minute, 2 segments dropped, although fully charged overnight. I detected the unplugging events. So my feeling is that it's draining too fast. So final decision is here. I've spent ample amount of time trying to get the replacement unit to work. It feels totally unreliable. I've calibrated it twice. It charges, it takes ages to charge, and drains very fast. Sorry for being a bit suspicious here, APC, but I think there is some problem when a device that is supposed to, you know, help you in an emergency case is not reliable. So I will stick with my existing unit and bear with the noise. I mean, fortunately, I have it in the shelf, so I can really yeah, maybe dampen the noise and yeah, rather be on the safe side. I guess you guys can understand that. I just forgot to mention that I also tried to use the PowerTune software and run a self-test with this replacement unit. And the replacement unit, I mean, PowerTune basically said that it's not not available at this time, which is another suspicious point. The muting worked in the end. For whatever reason, I didn't do it. I mean, as you saw in the previous videos, it did actually not switch off permanently, so maybe I'll consult the manual. But yeah, in this unit, it's working much better. It's working as expected, so another point of why I just keep it.